des centaines de fonctionnaires allemands forcés de quitter la...
So should we
Yes,
start?
Yes, I think we should start on time.
Okay, so I would give a brief thing, a program. We have 1 hour long session or maybe short session where we are commemorating Ibn Khaldun birth anniversary and also Foundation Day of Umran. So we have moderator Dr. Amina Hussain. She has expertise on women's gender studies or women-related studies, and professor at assistant professor at Khwaja Muhyiddin Chishti in Lucknow. And then we will be having Professor Bruce after me. I'll be coming and talking about the introduction of Umran, and then Professor Bruce we will be having to speak, and then Professor Miriam, and then Professor Mosmi, and then we will have also audience and contributor session where you can speak and also any question that you have, like and how you find the session. And then we will be having a closing remarks by Professor Mosmi Banerjee. So I think we can start, Dr. Amina.
Thank you, Rajiv. And first of all, a very formal welcome to all of you, to all our distinguished guests, Professor Bruce and Professor Miriam, who has been with us right from the inception, right from the time when I believe Rajiv conceived of Umran. They have been with us, guiding us. A very warm welcome to you. It's evening here, so good evening and good morning and good afternoon from wherever you are right now. And this is an important day. It's a very, I think, a significant day for us, because it is not only a foundation. As Rajiv mentioned, it is also, we are commemorating Ibn Khaldun. At the same time, we also chose this day to celebrate the achievements of Umran. I think it has been a long journey. And today we have reached a milestone, because we will be inaugurating, or we will be unveiling, our magazine on which we all, it's a collective effort. We all have worked closely together. And Rajiv will talk about it. The structure of the program as it will follow has already been, Rajiv has discussed how we will go about it. So without wasting any more time and trying to stick on the time frame for today's program, I ask Rajiv, invite Rajiv to begin with the hallmark of today's event, which is the unveiling of our magazine, which is a representation, which is a window to what Umran has been doing. It is a mouthpiece of our organization, its various achievements, its various activities, and I think we can begin with that.
Thank you very much, Dr. Amina. I am a bit excited, but I would like to greet you. Good morning, good afternoon, namaste, salam alaikum, and merhaba. Respected guests, Professor Bruce B. Lawrence, Professor Miriam Cook, and Professor Mosmi Banerjee, dear audience and dear Umran team. Umran Green Perspective Foundation celebrates 3 successful years today. As the founder and managing director, I stand before you today filled with immense joy and pride. We gather here to commemorate the foundation day of our organization and celebrate the birth anniversary of the great sociologist Ibn Khaldun. This momentous occasion brings together esteemed guests, professors, and my dedicated team. We are united by our shared passion for intellectual discussion and knowledge sharing, with the goal of establishing a better society, or Umran, or assabiya, or sense of belonging and longing for bigger society. A society where compassion, mercy, and kindness, symbolized by rahma, or Rahman, or Karuna, prevail, making Umran larger and the largest, adhering to the principle of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. I will request you to please keep yourself muted, my friend. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the belief that the whole world is one family. The first and foremost, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to each and every one of you gracing us with your presence today. Your support and encouragement have been invaluable as we embarked on the journey of creating Umran Talk Magazine or You Talk Magazine. I am truly humbled by your unwavering belief in our vision. Friends, we operate two important projects at a global level and one at national level. Umran Green School, UGS, and Umran Academic Research Association, UARA, at international level, and Umran SLY Library at national level. UGS teaches more than 10 international languages from basic to advanced, benefiting over 4,000 students and teachers from more than 42 countries in 3 years. UARA brings together renowned professors, scholars, and research students, fostering an intellectual milieu. UARA has collaborated with various universities and organizations such as EFL University Shillong, India, Duke University, America, Compensar University, Colombia, Latin America, Ibn Khaldun University, Istanbul, Turkey, Jyotinivas College, India, Istanbul University, Turkey, and many other local and international organizations. UAR has organized 2 international symposiums and numerous academic talks. Where Umran SLY Library is a physical library that we built for children in Bihar, in India, where more than 200 children are coming regularly. And we are also trying to develop a community center where we are inviting, we'll be inviting researchers to do research in this area to develop this community. Recently, we are working on that, and we'll be inviting around 20 volunteers to do research in this area. You Talk Magazine was born out of a vision to provide a platform for diverse voices, fostering intellectual conversation and promoting thought-provoking ideas. Our mission is to ignite minds, challenge perspectives, and inspire positive change. Through the collective efforts of our talented team, we have curated a magazine that embodies the sense of our vision or the concept longing, belonging for Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. I would like to acknowledge the extraordinary dedication and hard work of my team. Their unwavering commitment and tireless efforts have brought this magazine to life. They have poured their heart and soul into each article, interview, and feature, striving to create a publication that sparks intellectual curiosity and stimulates meaningful discussions. The magazine covers a diverse range of topics, from social and linguistic issues and cultural exchange to entrepreneurship and sustainable living. It embodies love, compassion, creativity, joy, peace, and prosperity. Before I preview the magazine, I would like to express my gratitude to those who have been supportive since its inception. A special thanks to Kusun Sara, Salima Khan, R. Sachin Kumar, Jamil Ahmad, Supradeep Hiral Kablani, Mateso from Burundi, Africa, Insa Kayoum from India, Dr. Amina Hussain, Michael Kaplan, Professor Bruce B. Lawrence from US, Professor Mariam Cook from US, Professor Mosmiji Banerjee from India, Professor Heba Rao from Turkey and Egypt, and many others. I would like to, now I am also very excited about the magazine and how you find the magazine. I would like to present you the magazine and talk a little bit about that before I end my session. So this is the magazine that we have. This is the cover page of the magazine. We have, in contributors, we have a very qualified team. Most of them are the section editor because they are well in language, linguistically well. Some of them are well in English. Some of them are very good in English. Some of them are good in Turkish. Some of them are good in both English and Turkey, English, Urdu, and also in Arabic language. For example, we have I have managing editor. I have worked professionally with the Westermann magazine for a year. I have a long experience with the book publication companies and the magazine companies. Also, we have I'm doing PhD at Ibn Khaldun University. Michael Kaplan, he is doing PhD at George Washington University in USA. He's an anthropologist. And then we have Dr. Amina Hussain. She's an assistant professor. Then we have a copy editor. She's a teacher from UK. And we have Fusun Sara. She is also a teacher and from Turkey. From Salima Khan, she is doing also PhD. And then we all are working under supervision of scholars like Professor Bruce B. Lawrence, and Professor Miriam Cook, and Professor Mausmiji Banerjee. This was the first pictures that we had taken for Umran Green School in 2020. We have also rich contents, sections in the content, like news and updates. We have articles and creative writings section. We have book review. We have poetry and poetry in various languages. It can be in English. It can be in Hindi. It can be in Turkish. Also, we brought a different diverse range of arts like paintings or craft. Then we have some works done by Umran Library. Then we have faith and religion. We have also kept the section for that. And also then we have ethnography kind of articles and research work. Then we have a travel sections. Anyone can share about the traveling experience. Then it's inspiring stories and health related issue, opinion piece. Any audience, any contributor can share, and then also can share their opinion, how they find the magazine, or they want to give a suggestion for that. So we have the section for that. We have photography of a different landscape. Any contributor can share with us. And then we have international section. So we have a very rich contents for the magazine, which really embodies the longing, belonging concept, or Umran, assabiya. I would like to share quickly that we have collaborated with two organizations, local organizations in Bihar and Serghati, and we'll be organizing a speech competition for that. We'll be organizing a speech competition for that. Wasim Khan is a founder of this Global English Communication Center, and it will be held on 18th June, and we are very excited about this program. Then we have also collaborated with Hope Foundation, and who is working in India in different places or in different states on education or other social issues. So I will be just going quickly. Then we have a review, the book that written by Professor Miriam Cook, Dancing in Damascus, which was reviewed by Dr. Amina Hussain. And then the Islamic Aid Cosmopolitan Spirit that I reviewed. It will be great to read about this. I'm sure that you will enjoy this review. Then we have some of the paintings that I have pictures from the SLY library that I mentioned, that office we are operating offline. I'll request you please mute yourself. Please mute yourself, please. Then we have poetry section. Then painting, Mithila painting or Madhubani painting from Bihar, my area. And then we have some paintings from the Kashmir, from Turkey, and then from Tamil Nadu, from the southern part of India. Then some paintings from the SLY library of children. And then we have faith and religion we share, and then some ethnographical research work. We are also working on to make a team for children, especially for a girls football team, to empower these children to different activities that will physically and mentally strengthen them to develop a positive vibe in them, a positive culture in them. Then we have also section, and then inspiring stories, health-related issues, and then photography. I would like to mention especially to Dr. Ramkumar Yadav, who is a retired teacher, and Veena Yadav for giving us support and sponsoring SLY library. We are very thankful to them. Then we have the contributor sections. This is all we have the magazine. So the next issue that before I end my session, I would like to thank all of the contributors and our advisory members with whom we have been continuously. We had a meeting several times and discussing to shaping the Umran magazine, and today we are having this magazine. So thank you very much, everyone, for this. Over to you, Dr. Amina.
Thank you so much, Rajiv. One thing I think that really truly stands out is the quality of the articles. I think each piece has been meticulously crafted. You know, there is an insightful analysis, as Rajiv mentioned, very thought-provoking ideas. And most of it is what Umran is actually doing in the field. And what particularly I think striking is the visual appeal and the design of the magazine. The layout is aesthetically pleasing and a very striking imagery, very engaging graphics. So the visual presentation, I'm sure the magazine, once it's really out in the print, it will be a delight to explore. Now, and of course, a big thanks to Rajiv and our entire team and our advisory body, which has been guiding us at every step. Now, since we are celebrating our Foundation Day and also commemorating Ibn Khaldun, so I would like to briefly, discuss or just, mention, I'm no expert on Ibn Khaldun and we have professors for that, but Ibn Khaldun's influence on humanity, it extends beyond the field of history. His ideas have shaped the development of sociology, anthropology, and economics. And he has, his emphasis on the importance of studying human societies with their specific historical and cultural context has greatly influenced social sciences. Additionally, his concept of, assabiya, which refers to the social solidarity, to which Rajiv was also mentioning in the passing, and a group cohesion is something that I think Umran takes its inspiration from. And Ibn Khaldun, has been also one of the influence, on the European Renaissance, especially Machiavelli and Marx also, to name a few. So I think to throw more light on this, I would like to now invite Professor Miriam, who is with us, to share her views.
Professor Bruce first.
Professor Bruce, I'm sorry. So Professor Bruce.
Actually, I'm sorry. Dr. Amina, you have anticipated a message I was going to send, because Bruce and I have decided that it's better if I speak first, and you'll understand when I speak. So go ahead.
So yes, so I invite both Professor Miriam and Professor Bruce to please take the lead.
Okay, yes. In fact, we just decided this a minute ago. So congratulations to everyone. So impressive. And to think that so many of you are and I would like to echo what Rajiv has just said. Please, everybody, mute yourself. Ooh, I think that worked. Great. So the reason that we decided that I should speak first was that exactly 40 years ago, I organized a conference on Ibn Khaldun at Duke. And it was for the 650th anniversary of his birth. So today we're celebrating the 690th. And then in a decade, it will be huge. It will be the 700th anniversary of Ibn Khaldun's birth. So at the time, I was a brand new assistant professor, and I think that the kind of energy that all of you bring to UTalk and to the conferences and to the workshops, and I particularly like the idea of the workshops, is something that has to emerge out of young scholars. And that is something that you, Rajiv, and Dr. Amina have been so important in bringing together so that young people can learn from each other, teach each other, and come up with exciting new projects. So I'm going to talk very briefly, but I did want to talk about the conference that I organized 40 years ago. And we were lucky enough to have the leading Ibn Khaldun scholar in the world, Franz Rosenthal, give the keynote. And he was doing it as a favor to Professor Bruce, because Professor Bruce was his student. And years later, Professor Bruce wrote the introduction to a new edition of Franz Rosenthal's Muqaddimah. So the people who were part of the conference, and these are now very, very established people in the field. At the time, a lot of us were quite young. So Professor Bruce wrote, he talked about it, and then it came out as a volume. So this is the volume. And I think it might be interesting for those of you who are going to continue thinking about Ibn Khaldun. And Dr. Amina, you mentioned how important he has been in not only as a proto-sociologist, world historian, but also as somebody through key concepts, as you said, assabiya in particular. And I think we have a perfect example of assabiya in UTalk. How else could one bring together 50 or so people from around the world without assabiya? We need to get... Next time, maybe, Rajiv, you can control the muting. So, yeah, so this conference, and then the journal that came out of it came out the next year, and Professor Bruce edited it. He was more senior than I, so it was better to, for us to share the organization of it. So Professor Bruce talked about Ibn Khaldun and Islamic ideology. So for those of you who know his work, ideology has been sort of the leitmotif of everything that he writes. Franz Rosenthal, our distinguished keynoter, wrote an article, Ibn Khaldun in his time. My essay was, and my presentation was, Ibn Khaldun in language, from linguistic habit to philological craft. And for those of you who know the Muqaddimah, that is a theme that goes through it. We then had a colleague of ours, again, as I say, except for Franz Rosenthal, most of us, I was in my second year out of graduate school, and to be honest, I was totally terrified. So I don't know if you can relate to being terrified to talk in public. I was. So Calvin Bland, who was in the Department of Religious Studies with Bruce Lawrence, wrote an article entitled An Islamic Theory of Jewish History, looking at the way in which Ibn Khaldun dealt with Jews in the 15th century and before. And then there were several others, but those were the ones that I think were really interesting, and I hope will be instructive for you. And again, congratulations to all of you on your 3rd anniversary, and happy birthday, Ibn Khaldun. You are now 690 years old. Go ahead.
So I'm Professor Bruce Lawrence, and I'm privileged to be here because Miriam had this idea over 40 years ago of inviting Professor Rosenthal and having a symposium, which we had at Duke on Ibn Khaldun, and we had all these people who came. And the one person that I should add to the roster is Cornell Flesher, who at that time was just a very junior assistant professor at a university called Washington University in St. Louis. He's now for 20 years been a chaired professor at Chicago University and one of the experts on Ibn Khaldun in the world, especially Ibn Khaldun as he's mediated in Ottoman historiography. So instead of talking about that conference, I want to talk about how Ibn Khaldun himself is a malleable, fungible, constantly changing character. And one of the things that's really important, I think, for what Rajiv is doing, and all of you and us are involved in Umran, is to take the basic concept of Umran and not leave it to history, but to make it about a buoyant element, if you will, a light signal for the future. So instead of just talking about Umran as civilizations of the past, we're talking about Umran as a civilizational initiative that continues today and has a future and not just a past. And I think part of that relates to language. And so I just want to say something about language. And for those of you who've heard Rajiv and read the several things he's written now, including the wonderful letter that all of us have the e-magazine that all of us have been able to read, you notice that he constantly refers to the idea of longing and belonging. And that was something which had occurred to me when I was thinking about Ibn Khaldun and thinking about the nature of cosmopolitan and civilization identity, and realizing that one of the things Ibn Khaldun has given us, and this is my greatest contribution to this birthday party for Ibn Khaldun, is he's given us an idea that the language is not something that's fixed or lexical that you only get in dictionary, you also get it through living. So the idea of longing and belonging that Rajiv constantly evokes is something that actually Can I continue? So be sure you mute yourselves, because I'm not going to talk much longer, but it's good if only one voice is active on the internet. So I was trying to say that Ibn Khaldun is giving some initiative that has now been launched and developed by Rajiv in talking about civilization Umran as never just one thing, but both things. So in the same way that civilization is both longing and belonging, it's both Badawi and Hadari. So there's two notions of civilization, and they seem to be opposite to each other. Badawi seems to be Bedouin or rural or agricultural, and Hadari tends to be urban and settled and literary minded. But in fact, the two have to go together. And one of the things I think that Ibn Khaldun does is to say that you can't have assabiya, to use a word that was used earlier. You can't have assabiya unless you also have a notion of longing and belonging. So you have to belong to some place, and you have to long to make that place bigger if you're going to really have assabiya. Assabiya is collective goodwill. Somebody said to me one time, isn't there another word that Ibn Khaldun has in mind when he used the word assabiya? And because he was a jurist, as well as a legal scholar, as well as a literary advocate, I think the word that he has in mind is maslaha, the collective good. So he's using assabiya as a term to say how you motivate people, but he's thinking in terms of a larger goal of maslaha, or collective good, collective well-being, the total and not the individual contribution to social well-being. And so when I have been developing some of my own thoughts about Ibn Khaldun in the last 40 plus years, I thought that it's really important to link him not just to the Muqaddimah, but to the legacy of his life, which goes beyond the Muqaddimah and goes beyond civilization. So for instance, for people who only know English, and this is where the limits of language are very important, they think of civilization, and I'm thinking of Robert Irwin, who especially just wrote a book that came out a couple of years ago in Ibn Khaldun, where he says basically Ibn Khaldun is writing about his own lifetime, and his message is only for himself and not for humanity. Well, I totally disagree with Irwin. I think he's a brilliant scholar, and he's certainly a much more mercurial figure than anybody, including Ibn Khaldun, could imagine in the modern world. He's a Sufi who's also a cynic. He's a Britisher who's also a global cosmopolitan. But I think he's wrong in saying that Ibn Khaldun is only about civilization, because civilization is linked now to Toynbee, Arnold Toynbee, who wrote a massive history of the study of civilization, which is a kind of Western project in the early 20th century. And now it's been tainted in the 21st century by a man named Huntington in the whole idea of the crisis of civilization, or clash of civilization. So I think if one only uses the term civilization to talk about Ibn Khaldun, one misses the other part of him that is civility, that is adab.
And alliance of civilizations.
And also alliance of civilizations that comes out of this. So alliance of civilizations as it's conceived in Istanbul, and as some of you are related to it, and actually through Rajiv, all of us are related to the Alliance of Civilization Institute, ACI. It is alliance of civilizations, means coming together of groups of people who are not Western or non-Western, who are not Muslim or non-Muslim, who are not active or passive, but people who combine several elements. And I think when Rajiv talks about the fact that the new ebook is going to be something which is multilingual, it's multilingual because it's also cross-cultural. The culture and language aren't in conflict. They're complementary instead of competitive. And poetry and prose, although they're very different ways of expressing oneself, poetry and prose ideally are complementary rather than competitive in the way in which they express human emotions and ideals and endeavors. So I think the idea that I would want to just leave in my brief contribution to this gathering, for which I thank Rajiv and everybody else who's contributed to it. The one thing I want to say is that it's really important to note that most of us deal implicitly with dyads, D-Y-A-D, dyad. A dyad means two things. And some people think that, oh, civilization, non-civilization, like Umran Badawi and Umran Haddadi, always must be conflict, because people who are agricultural are not the same as urban people. People who are illiterate are not the same as literate people. But in fact, the world relies on both kinds of people. So I've coined the term barzakh logic to talk about the fact that two things can be very opposite, but instead of always being competitive, they can also be complementary. And one does not need to become the other in order for both to succeed. And of course, the term barzakh itself comes from the Holy Quran, and so it's a term that has a certain valence. But I think the beauty of barzakh, it comes from the Quran, but it's Persian. So it already embodies in itself a difference from a lot of the Quran, which of course is mostly in Arabic. But the fact that you have a term that bridges Persian culture, which becomes a large element of Islamic, or what I prefer to call Islamicate civilization, means that already you have the seed, the genesis, the impetus for thinking broadly about dyads as not only competitive, but complementary. And I think that's what longing and belonging means. And I think that's what Rajiv has tried to express in the Umran initiative. And I'm really happy to be part of it and happy to be part of the gathering today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Miriam and Professor Bruce. Professor Bruce, thank you, Professor Miriam, for taking us, down memory lane when you were assistant professor. It shows your own personal, your memories and your attachment with Ibn Khaldun. And Professor Bruce, for your expertise on Ibn Khaldun. We clearly pointed out some very highlights, and you kind of, in very, very briefly, you kind of crystallized, Ibn Khaldun's philosophy. And talking about, civilization that you mentioned, I think assabiya also, according to Ibn Khaldun, plays a very major role, a crucial role, in providing the foundation for a political organization, in a civilization. So, basically social cohesion where there is shared values and strong kinship, and there is also collective loyalty to, in some way, I think Umran's logo of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam also loosely translates into that, if I'm not wrong. So another aspect that really intrigues me, that Ibn Khaldun also talked about the environmental factors, in civilization and how they characterized and shapes, societies. So I guess there is a lot that we can continue to discuss, but I would like to halt here and open the platform for all our contributors and all our volunteers and our teachers who have been associated with Umran and have been doing the real field work. So it's time for them to express their views and share their thoughts, especially on the inauguration of UTalk.
Dr. Amina, we
Yes.
have forgotten Professor Mosmi to invite after this. After that, we will have.
Okay, so that was for the vote of thanks. There has been a slight change. So I request Professor Mosmi, who's also with us right from the beginning, and I request her to please share her views on this occasion.
Yeah, so thank you, Dr. Ravina. So I'm a little surprised about that change. Okay. So Rajiv, I would request you to next time to send us the list of events. I mean, a minute-to-minute schedule that would really benefit us, so that we know who comes after whom. So I think that is essential. And when that is not there in front, we can have certain confusions. But perfect. I mean, it's all fine. Okay, so dear everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Of course, it is a spectacular occasion in which we have again come together to celebrate the arduousness, love, compassion, and undeterred determination with which Umran, as an undivided unit, has come a long way in fostering a multicultural, multi-dimensional, multilingual, and multi-ethnic community of people from all over the world who have this keen sense of belongingness and engagement with whatever great and brilliant Umran as a unique organization comes to undertake. I heartily extend my warm welcome to you all to this fantastic program where we celebrate the Foundation Day and commemorate Ibn Khaldun's birth anniversary. We also have the UTalk magazine that Rajiv was introducing us to, and it is the UTalk that would primarily do the talking for us today. It is an exquisite attempt for sure by Team Umran, which is very creatively envisaged by its captain Rajiv, who with remarkable adeptness has relentlessly and unsparingly been steering the ship forward. I laud every attempt at the UTalk magazine because it's very meticulously and painstakingly conceived and designed. It has several sections, as I found it. It has campus news, articles and creative writings, poetry, art, craft, and culture, the Umran SLY library, ethnography, travel, inspiring stories, lifestyle and health, a creative corner, and many more. I wonder really how Rajiv and team really got to put this all together. I consider this as a capital achievement, and I heartily wish we'd be able to see many more versions of this worthy creation in the future. So since we are celebrating the launch of the You Talk magazine today, it is also pertinent to deliberate on the very ideal of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, something on which I would wish to reflect on a bit today, and something that was also wanted of me by Rajiv that I speak on, which is a Vedantic dictum that appears in the Maha Upanishad, a minor Upanishad belonging to the so-called group of Vishnu Upanishads, Upanishads mostly of later provenance that extol Lord Vishnu or Narayana as the supreme being. The concerned verses declare that it is only the small-minded who discriminate between kin and stranger, while for the magnanimous, the entire world is a family. The context of this verse is a discussion on the state of Jiva Mukti, or embodied liberation, and Brahma Sthiti, the state of being established in the Brahman. It enjoins that magnanimity, which is a direct result of non-attachment to the world. One of the verses of the Mahopanishad that reflects the idea of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is Ayam Bandhurayam Neti Ganana Laghu Chetasam Udara Charitanam Tu Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which is constitutive of verses 71 and 72 of chapter 6 of Mahopanishad, which means only small men discriminate sin. One is a relative, the other is a stranger. For those who live magnanimously, the entire world constitutes but a family. Or only people with a petty outlook differentiate, saying this is my friend and this is not my friend. But for those with a magnanimous mind, the entire world is one family. So this idea of oneness is also reflected in the Vedic saying, Yatra Vishwam Bhavati Ekanidam, or the world is a single nest. The philosophy of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam seeks to overcome the us versus them mentality, which is at the root of conflict and violence. We have seen a theory like realism to be based on the concept of the other. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam reflects the universal yearning of mankind, a philosophy that transcends any specific religion and emphasizes inclusion. It is deeply ingrained in our psyche, and this is a historical truth. So the Indian philosophic thought underscores the concept of unity or oneness in the entire creation. The universe is diverse, but there is interconnectedness and harmony in it. The concept of the global commons underlines the interconnected relationship of man with nature and among natural systems. Being an idea that unites rather than divides, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam can serve as the basis of the ongoing discussion regarding global cooperation for resolving global problems. It can underpin new multilateralism that the world urgently needs. The imposition of uniformity brings strife, clashes, and bloodshed. A related concept in Vedic philosophy is ekam sat vipra vahuda vadanti, which means truth is one, the wise call it differently. The idea that there are many paths to the one truth is deeply satisfying as it brings in the concept of inclusion and diversity. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam does not impose uniformity. It accepts diversity. That is why it is so relevant today. So the Upanishadic philosophy, of which Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is a representation, also emphasizes the divinity of every living being. It believes that every human being is divine, and thus there is no cause for conflict. According to Swami Sarvapriyananda, Vedanta is universal in its application and is equally relevant to all countries, all cultures, and all religious backgrounds. Vedanta affirms the oneness of existence, the divinity of the soul, and the harmony of all religions. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam should not be taken as a sectarian idea, and the interpretation should be countered. Swami Vivekananda had stated in his Chicago address of 11 September 1893 that the spirit of acceptance and accommodation can bring peace and harmony, as it advocates the lofty view of the entire creation being one family. In today's world, it is peace that is endangered. Peace must be inculcated as a way of life. The UN declared the first decade of the 21st century as the decade of the culture of peace and disarmament. Anvarul Chaudhary, a reputed diplomat, observes the culture of peace as a concept means that every one of us needs to consciously make peace and nonviolence a part of our daily existence. We should not isolate peace as something separate or distant. We should know how to relate to one another without being aggressive, without being violent, without being disrespectful, without neglect, without prejudice. The idea of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam can strengthen the UN efforts to imbibe the culture of peace amongst people. We are also proud to be celebrating today the birth anniversary of Ibn Khaldun, a sociologist, philosopher, and historian, and widely acknowledged to be one of the greatest social scientists of the Middle Ages, and of course, considered by many to be the father of historiography, sociology, economics, and demography studies. In Muqaddimah or Prolegomena, or introduction, one of Ibn Khaldun's best known works, the author has used the word Umran for 225 times, starting from the first chapter to chapter 6 and the last chapter, including titles of clauses in the chapter. The repetition of the word itself shows that Umran has two main branches, namely Hadara, civilization, and Thaqafa, culture. And the two branches that Umran is associated with represent the tariq, or history, experienced by man. Although there are attempts to separate Umran from Hadara, Thaqafa, and tariq, in reality, they are united in two stages. The first stage being the cultured Umran, and the second stage being the civilized Umran. Both the stages are interrelated and complementary to each other through the chain of events. The science of Umran translates to the two sciences of human life and society that include three disciplines, namely the religious sciences, the social sciences, and the natural sciences. According to Ibn Khaldun, knowledge contains two meanings, or two qualities, outward and inward. The example given by him constitutes the social sciences like history, which according to him contains two meanings, again, outward and inward. The face of history is manifested through events such as wars or the rise and fall of a government. But an individual's mind remains rooted in the community in the form of culture. And the inner element is what exactly is a mover, leading to the occurrence of events in history. This is what could be understood as the idea of universalism or integration, introduced by Ibn Khaldun through his theory of Umran. And it is in this way that it is a theory of new knowledge and new creations. So this is where we can interpret the ideas of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam and Umran to be strongly and inseparably interconnected in terms of unity and diversity, the entire humanity being one, a global ecology of the mind, and the existence of one undivided world. So with that, I would put an end to what I had to say in this section. So thank you, Rajiv, for undertaking this, and congratulations on the launch of the U-Talk magazine, a brilliant effort. Kudos to your team. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Banerjee. Thank you so much for your insights into Umran as well as Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Now I open the forum, I open this for our contributors, for our volunteers, and for all those who are associated with Umran to please give your feedback or express your thoughts or anything you'd like to say and share with us.
Please do not hesitate. You can unmute yourself and speak.
Hello, hi everyone. This is Saurabh here. Can you hear me?
Yes, but could you please
Yes, we
open
can
your
hear
camera?
you, Saurabh. Please go
Am I
ahead.
audible?
Yeah, could you please open your camera also?
Okay, actually my internet is not working fine. That's why I just came and then checked, and then I went off. Yeah. So first of all, many congratulations to Rajiv Bhai for this U-Talk magazine. It's a wonderful initiative taken by him and all other members. And I think I knew Umran for the last 2-3 years, when I'm not wrong, because Rajiv Bhai is my classmate and we studied together in Jawaharlal Nehru University. And right now I am working in a multinational company as a developer. So when I was during the lockdown, when we had work from home, so we started in our area, in the some pockets of Bihar, we started mission education here. And so I thought Rajiv Bhai was also working in the field of education. So we collaborated and I talked to him. So why don't we work together on these projects? And so we have started, and this is really wonderful initiative, and we will surely work together. Yeah. I think somebody is speaking in between, I think. Can you please mute the... So this is always hindrance. Am I audible now? Or
Yes, you're audible. And Rajiv, if it's possible, you take the control in your hand, especially you can mute everyone.
yeah.
As even Professor Miriam suggested, that would be more, I guess, will have a more conducive.
Yeah. So I'm just new to this. This is the first time I've appeared here. So I don't have much to say. Just I say thank you all. Thank you for this initiative, and please continue. We'll be together. We'll be working together for this noble cause. Yeah. Thank you very much.
All our wonderful teachers, volunteers who've been with us. I can see Nahid Aslam. Please, this is the time. We are here to celebrate. So please.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
I don't really have much to say. Just to thank Rajiv for inviting me to take part in and be part of the Umran family. It's been a great privilege. Listening to today's lecture, brilliant insight by Bruce and sorry, I've forgotten the name of his wife, but the Bruce family, and certainly by Mosmi Banerjee, excellent. I mean, I was just thinking that Ibn Khaldun, he was born at a time of great privilege. He was an Arab, born at the right time, had into a wealthy family. He had a lot of privileges, and he was able to take time to educate himself and to, really put all his, he was in a privileged position to be able to study and to sit and reflect on the meaning of life. Not all of us have that privilege, and the people that are involved with Umran, many of them are coming from socially deprived backgrounds. I was speaking to one of my students just earlier, and we were talking about how he's from a scheduled class. He faces a lot of discrimination in his home country, the country of his birth, and yet he wants to study. He wants to learn other languages. He wants to increase his knowledge of world culture, and that's what Umran is trying to do. This the cultural programs that it has, this UTalk magazine that is put out. It's there to help ordinary people, the people that are not being born with a silver spoon in their mouth, to have an opportunity to learn. And we can all help each other. None of us have all the answers. None of us, unless you're lucky enough to be born into a wealthy family and in a safe part of the world, we all struggle. So take advantage of the opportunities that people like Rajiv have created. I'm saying this to all the students and also to the tutors as well. And there are people out there that are willing to help, and they understand the difficulties that we're going through. The world is in crisis. We are everywhere you go, there people are struggling. But within that struggle, there are people that are willing to help you and that see, just as Mosimi said, that they see the commonality of humanity. They don't see division. God created diversity. God loves diversity. And we should also learn to love each other, no matter which culture we're from, what our background is. We are all the children of God. And that is my understanding is that is what Umran is trying to do. So thank you very much and all the very best. Thank you.
Yes. First of all, I congratulate to Raju Bhai for this brilliant initiative that we are running Hope Foundations, a foundation which has been, that founded by a group of friends. They all are NRIs living in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And we have collaboration with Raji Bhai, with the Umran Foundations. Recently, we had discussions with him and we decided to work together. For those students, they are living in slum areas. They don't have food to eat. They don't have anything to go to schools. So we have started to working for them, and we have collaborations with the Umran Foundations. And today we have the launching program of UTalk magazine also. So I'll not take much time, but I'll congratulate to Raji Bhai for this brilliant initiatives. And we will work together in some part of that Bihar. Already we are working on educations. We are running, Hope Foundation is running 4 schools in India, in different states of India, like in Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, the West Bengal and Bihar. So, and we have adopted 400 slums students, and we are teaching them free of cost. We are providing all the study materials and all the stuff they need. So this is our program, what we are doing. So again, we congratulate for this wonderful initiative. Thank you so much.
Would you like to say something, anyone?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. First of all, I would like to congratulate Umran and Rajiv as we embark on this beautiful, insightful journey. And I want to extend my deepest gratitude to each and everyone who has joined us. Your support and engagement and willingness to embrace the values of assabiya are what make this magazine a very powerful vehicle for intercultural understanding and unity. So what Professor Bruce Lawrence said, that resonated with me deeply, that language is ever evolving and changing. And as Indians, we are gifted with one of the great gifts of composite cultures were this beautiful language that was Urdu. That was an amalgamation of Persian and Arabic and Hindu's language as well. And the same I can say for Turkish language as I tried to explore that language. So it's embedded in each and every language that we borrow terms from each other. So why can't we borrow the shared beautiful values that we carry within us? So Ibn Khaldun's concept of assabiya refers to this collective spirit, solidarity, and shared sense of purpose that fosters unity within the society. So as a magazine that celebrates intercultural societies, we recognize the significance of the assabiya in nurturing a strong and a cohesive society and a community. I really want to, from the bottom of my heart, want to congratulate the students who are coming from the unprivileged backgrounds and, moving out of their comfort zone, and also congratulate Rajiv to giving them a platform so that they can showcase the beauty of diversity. And we, through this magazine, we aim to cultivate a sense of collective identity, which, Professor Mosumi stresses upon, and a purpose amongst our readers. And through the power of storytelling and insightful articles and thought-provoking features, we strive to instill assabiya within our readers' heart by highlighting the achievements and struggles and triumphs of different cultures. We inspire a sense of shared humanity and a recognition of our interconnectedness. And this magazine serves as a platform for discourse, for dialogue, bridging the gaps between all the communities and promoting understanding within the consciousness. And it is through the exchange of ideas and perspectives and experiences that assabiya thrives and provides, this magazine provides a space where readers can explore the richness of the diverse cultures and challenging stereotypes and, cultivate empathy, which is, the urgent need of the hour, given the socio-political conditions all around the world. So thank you everyone for joining in.
Thank you very much. Insha was saying something. Insha,
Assalamu alaikum, Rajiv. Assalamu alaikum, Professor Bruce and Professor Mariam. I'm so thankful to everybody, to Rajiv, especially for giving me, my father, my brother a platform wherein they could actually showcase their talent. I'm so grateful that I'm a part of Umran. I'm so grateful that I came to know Rajiv. I'm so grateful that I came to know these great scholars, these great people like Professor Bruce and Professor Mariam. Whatever little I could understand and whatever little I could learn from them, I'm so grateful for everything. The workshop which I attended, which was actually presided over by Professor Mariam Cook and Professor Bruce, that helped me a lot to improve my writing, to improve the way the things are designed and the thesis is actually to be written. So here's my father. He just wants to thank Rajiv because he was compelling me that he wanted to thank you and everybody there, but he will speak in Urdu and I'll later on translate for him. Here he is.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Alaikum assalam.
कैसे हैं आप? राजीव जी कैसे हैं आप? मैं राजू जी आपका बहुत बहुत शुक्रगुजार हूँ. आपने मेरी फन का, मेरी आर्ट का जो मुजाहरा किया है, कदर की है, तो मैं शुक्रिया आपका अदा करता हूँ.
मुझे खुशी है इस बात से. आप एक बहुत बड़े आर्टिस्ट हैं. आप में जो स्पिरिट है, और मुझे अच्छा लगा उस आर्ट्स को, और उसकी कदर करनी चाहिए. और उसके जरिए बहुत कुछ किया जा सकता है। इसमें
यू
एक
सर,
इमोशन है।
थैंक यू सर, जो आपने इस पे ये पहली बार आपने इसमें ये मैगजीन पे दिया है, तो बहुत खुशी की बात है। मैं बहुत खुश हो गया हूँ, मैं आपका बहुत शुक्रगुजार हूँ। तो मैं जो आप काम कर रहे हैं, मैं उससे बहुत सहमत हूँ, बहुत खुशी हुई है आपके काम से। तो मुझे उम्मीद है कि आप आगे भी ऐसे काम करेंगे, और बहुत मुझे उम्मीद है कि आप यहाँ कश्मीर आ जाएंगे, आपसे मुलाकात होगी। तो मैं आपका वेट कर रहा हूँ, मैं आपका इंतजार कर रहा हूँ बेसब्री से।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Okay, Rajiv, I think we need to do you think we need to translate that for Professor Bruce and Professor Mariam?
I think the
Or they
emotions
got it?
were so evident. I don't think emotions need any language. It was just no, inshallah, I'm saying emotions, they don't need translations, you know. It shows how attached he feels with Umran and how grateful he is, you know, where especially you talk where his, you know, art is being, you know, we've used his, you know, his paintings in his art in the magazine. So he's immensely grateful for that.
And I would also thank Umran and Rajiv on behalf of my brother, whose pictures from the valley of Gurez, which falls in the district of Bandipora from Kashmir. He was on a recent trip to Gurez, and then I asked him for his beautiful clicks, and he was very happy, and he quickly agreed to it, to contribute to the magazine. So I would also thank you for like giving him also a space in our magazine. Thank you so much, Professor Bruce, Professor Mariam. From my father's side, he's in his early 60s, and till now, like, he had not got this chance to showcase his work anywhere. And Rajiv's magazine is the first place, like first platform where he could actually contribute his paintings, his art, to the people, to the scholarly people like you. So thank you everybody. Thank you, Rajiv, for like bringing me in, roping me in his initiative. Thank you, Professor Amina, Professor Mosmi Banerjee. I am so inspired by each one of you as a human being and as an academician, for like the way you are dedicated to the organization. And I want to give my 100% to this organization once I'm done with my research work. Thank you so much, Rajiv. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, Insha. So I think we should conclude the session, Dr. Amina.
Yeah, so I just, you know, Insha, who was speaking earlier, is from Kashmir, and I'm from Lucknow. And I think the credit goes to Rajiv, how he has patched up all different parts of country, you know, how we have come together. So the credit definitely goes to him. And we're celebrating today. We're celebrating our magazine today. We're celebrating the birthday of, you know, Ibn Khaldun. I think we have one more reason to celebrate. Rajiv and I were discussing it. In fact, this has been in discussion for a long time. And today we have reached to the conclusion, and Rajiv's Umran has signed an MOU, which is a memorandum of understanding, a collaboration, a creative academic collaboration with my university, which is Khwaja Muinuddin Chishti Language University. So we are going to work more in collaboration now. And since we were talking about Indians being multilinguals, and we are promoting different languages, not only European, but also Indian languages. You know, India has, India is so rich when it comes to languages, and we all know culture and heritage, but even the languages, you know, even one language, if you move across regions, it changes, you know. Hindi, the way it is spoken in Bihar is completely different from the way it is in UP. So, so keeping that in mind, we are going to continue this academic and creative, our journey. Now, if we have come to the conclusion, and I would like to now offer a formal vote of thanks. So first and foremost, of course, I would like to extend our deepest gratitude to our esteemed guests, Professor Bruce, Professor Miriam, Professor Mosmi, who's always been with us, for taking time out from their very busy schedule and joining us. And your presence here not only honors us, but also it signifies your support to our venture and belief in our vision. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, sir. And we're also immensely grateful to to our dedicated team, who have worked tirelessly to bring this magazine to fruition. We've had a lot of discussion, a lot of disagreements, a lot of, arguments, everything happened, but I think it's part of the journey, and the unwavering commitment, passion, creativity, it has transformed our vision into reality. We would also like to express our gratitude to our contributors, to our writers, to the photographers, artists who have lent their talent and expertise on this project. We also should be grateful to our sponsors. I hope I'm not missing out anyone, and partners, our various organizations with which Rajiv has collaborated, who have supported us throughout this journey. Furthermore, a heartfelt thank also goes to our readers, who are the lifeblood of the magazine. Your interest, your feedback, your encouragement is instrumental in shaping, our content and driving us continually striving for excellence. Last but not the least, I would like to extend my deepest gratitude and thanks to each one of you present here today. Your presence is a testament to the faith and the trust that you placed in us, and your support and encouragement will serve as a constant reminder, of our responsibility to deliver the magazine that exceeds, your expectations. So thank you. May this magazine be the source of, inspiration and knowledge for all. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Amina, for moderating this session. We are hoping a contribution for the next magazine, and you can visit our website. You can share your new contribution to the magazine for the next issue. And we are also looking forward to read them. It will be very soon. It will be available on website. You can look into the magazine very soon and read it and give your feedback. And also you share with your friends to read it. I'm very hopeful that you will be enjoying. Before we end, today we had like a lot of we miss so many things. But in our program, it was also like I asked Professor Mosmi to say a few words, like in 1 or 2 minutes, to say before we close. Professor Mosmi.
Yes, Rajiv. So I think it has been said amply. So it's really a great effort on your part. So I don't have to add, I guess, in specificity anything, because I'm not left with anything. But I really wish that this magazine would go a long way in really establishing and giving expression to the ideas and values of Umran, and Umran would be able to successfully, shoulder that responsibility. And this is what is, the objective of the magazine is. So, and not only the magazine, I think through each and every endeavor of yours, I mean, whether it's a meeting or whether it's a workshop that we do or a seminar or any deliberation that we are engaged in, everything should actually convey, and be expressive of the values that Umran actually both shoulders and, is committed to, to actually carry out. So this is truly a brilliant occasion, and it is really emblematic of the labor that you have put. So you see, love's labor is not lost. So it is that day that we celebrate and pay our utmost honor to that love and to that labor and to that compassion. So thank you, Rajiv, and everyone here present very, very much. So I really wish that, and of course, I know it's really going to be a reality that this magazine would see a lot, many more versions in the years to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Mosmi, and all participants and audience today. And especially, I would like to thanks to Professor Bruce, who is my teacher, who has been teaching me and giving training and many more things that I have learned with Professor Bruce. I am very thankful to him, and today is very special day, and I always feel he's a real guru, and I'm inspired his words and his action. His words and actions has been inspiring me every time, and it's memorable. Like we are in words, perhaps, but I'm very thankful that he's my guru. Thank you very much, Professor Bruce. This is very a special day for me, and I want to express that I'm very much inspired from you. Thank you very much, and thank you very much, Professor Mariam, for your continuous support every time, every time open. Not for me, but also you are open for everyone. So I'm very thankful for this, your humble nature. Thank you very much, and thank you very much, Professor. See you that the spirit that you have, the legacy that you have been carrying so far, and we are hoping that we'll be carrying your legacy in future, and other people will be inspired to carry that legacy. Thank you very much for making this world beautiful. Thank you very much, Professor.
Rajiv, can I speak for 2 minutes, Rajiv, if that's allowed?
Yes.
I was not able to join, so I rejoined. So I worked with Rajiv, like as part of when he was saying as part of Westerman and other things, like I was working with Rajiv. He's such a wonderful person. And when he left this office and he went to Turkey, I was thinking like we are missing someone from our team. But now after seeing all the initiatives that Rajiv and his team are doing, it's really, really amazing. So our heartfelt wishes, Rajiv, for you to be successful in everything. So I know this is just a start and you still have a long, long way to go. So our best wishes to you. I feel so proud to be part of this meeting and collaborating with you as well.
Thank you very much, Indu. She is joining from South India, from Pondicherry, and Professor Bruce has been there. One of their books has been typeset in that company where I worked, and Indu also worked. She was my supervisor, and I am really inspired. We had like a lovely environment that we built, and that is also in my spirit, the time that I spent together. So Integra Software Service, where your Willie Blackwell Islamic spirituality has been published. The book, the recent book that you have written, was typeset in that company. Yes, Integra Software. Thank you very much, Indu, for joining from Pondicherry. Pondicherry is very close to my heart. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rajiv. Thank you so much for inviting and making us to also be part of this wonderful session. All the best to you all.
Thank you. Thank you. So see you again, and we are looking forward. Thank you very much. Good night. Sabah khair. Salam alaikum. Subratri.
Thank you, Rajiv. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.